Hello everybody and welcome to the third video, which is the second update for the build Demon Hunter. My name is Faethodas and here we go. As you may already know, if you have watched the previous two videos of this build guide, whose links I will provide in the description of this video in case you missed those videos. In this video we will see the changes that happened to this build during the legendary difficulty level of the game. So, let's start with the skills first. The first big change that we see in the hunting mastery is that now we are using the skill Study Prey and its add-on Flash Out. This skill is very powerful because when we cast it on enemies, it reduces their physical and pierce resistances, and they receive more damage, so they die faster and we stay alive longer. Also, this add-on Flash Out reduces their defensive ability, their bleeding and elemental resistances to make things easier for us. What I did was to put only 3 skill points to this skill and 1 point to Flash Out, but I get +2 levels to all skills by an item I currently use, so the skills are on level 5 and 3. For the skill Marksmanship, I put only 1 point since the last video. I put 2 points on its add-on Puncture Shot Arrows for a bigger chance for the arrows to pass through enemies and 1 point to Scatter Shot Arrows. I'd like to max out at least this skill, Puncture Shot Arrows, but other skills were more important to develop, so this one is left in this state. Now, the skill Volley, one of the most important skills for this build. I managed to max out the skill, both its natural level cap, which is 6, and its current level cap, which is 10. On level 10, this skill has 20% chance to be used, so it is a very good help against our enemies. For a little explanation of the synergies of the skill, please watch the previous video of this guide where I explain a couple of mechanics for the skill Volley. I will show you in a moment how I managed to max out the skill on current level 10. The next big change we have to the build is that now we also use the skill Art of the Hunt and its 2 add-ons, Find Cover and Trail Blazing. The Art of the Hunt provides more pierce and bleeding damage and more flat damage to beasts and beastmen type of enemies, while the Find Cover skill gives us a good chance to avoid projectiles, and the Trail Blazing skill more movement speed and 100% reduced entrapment duration. This is a great skill because often enough we get trapped by some nasty enemies, and the trap lasts only for a short time when we have this skill activated. Of course, the best thing would be for all those 3 skills to get maxed out, but they work very well even in this current state. And finally, the Herbal Remedy and Good Lore skills are boosted by 2 levels from an item I use currently. Now, let's go to the Dream Mastery. In this mastery, we got the Trance of Convalescence to level 15. This skill proved to be a life savior in the legendary difficulty, so it was a wise choice to use this instead of the Trance of Wrath, which I was using during the normal difficulty of the game. The next big change is that the skills Lucid Dream, Premonition and Temporal Flux are now maxed out and on +3 levels to each one of them. These 3 skills are mandatory for this build because they provide more physical damage, electrical burn and vitality damage, more defensive and offensive ability, more total speed and a great chance to avoid projectiles. Also, they provide a big bonus to slow resistance, which is important because with this build we need to have the best attack and movement speed possible, and if the monsters are slowing us down, then this becomes a big problem. The other change we have is that finally I maxed out the natural level cap of the skill Psionic Touch, and now it is on +3 skill levels. The last but not least change to the skills is that I've decided to try and max out the skill Distortion Wave. So now in its current level, which is it's 12 out of 12. Of course this is not maxed out, its natural cap maxes out on level 12, but I reached this number by using items that give skill levels to all skills. So here we are. With the skill at this state we get 140 damage and 56% slowed enemies for 4 seconds. I developed this skill mostly for the bonus to slowing enemies to get bigger and more helpful, for the skill to get bigger and more helpful. So those are the changes to the skills. Now let's see what we have to the items department. We have some good stuff here, so let's begin. Some of the items you see on my hero are the same as in the previous video. Those items are the artifact, the boots, the spear and the helm. Now, the new items for the build are the legendary Shield of the Corybates. This is a very important shield because it provides a big bonus to pierce resistance, and we absolutely need this bonus, especially when we fight against the strongest demons in the game, the Makai. With this shield and some other items, my pierce resistance is maxed out, as you can see here, 80%. This is the cap for all resistances in the game. Actually, it is 80%. It also gives more physical and pierce damage, reduced resistance for 3 seconds, more health and energy points, a nice boost to defensive ability, and the second most important attribute, plus 15% total speed. Please remember that the items you see here are the items I used to to die 3 times by Hades in legendary difficulty. If you've missed the show, you can watch my previous videos and see how I performed in the last area of the game with this setup. The chest armor is the legendary Odysseus armor. This is clearly a survivability type of item. It provides mostly attributes to keep us alive, and it does it very well. It gives more armor protection, a bit of more physical damage, more strength, intelligence and dexterity points, health and energy regeneration, minus 30% reduction to all requirements, minus 15% recharge, which is very useful, and plus 35% less damage from beastmen. Let's not forget that the world of Titan Quest has many beast and beastmen types of enemies, so this becomes a big help for our characters. For the slot of Hans Armor, I was very lucky to finally fight the Conqueror's Bracers. This is a powerful item for this build as it provides a big bonus to fire resistance, a great bonus to shield block, a big bonus to physical damage, a great boost to health points, and a superb bonus to attack speed of 41%, which is a random number of course, but still it is very big. Also it provides skill levels to 2 skills which are irrelevant to this build. We don't care about those 2. Now for the amulet. This is the legendary Aphrodite's Favor. This amulet is really great with the attributes it provides. We get big bonus to pierce, elemental and poison resistances, a huge percent to skill disruption protection, a good chance to 7 to 11 seconds of mind control, which means that for 7 to 11 seconds enemies that are affected by this power are fighting on our side against their friends. Also it gives a huge boost to health points, a great boost to energy regeneration, and the superb +2 to all skills. So here we can see where my +2 to all skills comes from. Actually this amulet would be great for vampire build. The next important item we have is the legendary bow Painweaver. This is a crazy powerful bow. Just see these attributes. 9% chance of plus 354% physical damage, 9% chance of plus 338% pierce damage, 29 to 47 flat piercing damage, 48% reduced defensive ability for 3 seconds, 53% bleeding resistance. This is amazing! 55% life leech resistance and a superb 58% increase in projectile speed. Holy crap! Absolutely stunning! Enough said. Now let's talk about my 2 new rings. Actually, it's the same ring twice. I found this ring 2 times, so I equipped it in both in both slots. This is the legendary rings Apollo's Wheel ring. It is a ring perfectly suited to the hunting mastery, and it gives a big bonus to pierce, fire and poison resistances, a huge bonus to pierce damage, more dexterity and health points, a great bonus to increase the speed of projectiles, and +1 to skills, volley and art of the hand. So, since I have this ring equipped 2 times, I get double the benefits, which means I get +2 to the skills, volley and art of the hand. Also I get 51% increase in projectile speed from one ring, plus 41% increase in projectile speed from the other ring, and if you add the 58% increase from the bow, we go up to 150% increase in projectile speed by 3 items. Of course, all the other attributes of this ring are doubled, or to say it more correctly, they are added to each other, so we become really strong and efficient. So, this is how I got the skill volley to level 10 out of 6, which is its natural cap. First, I use this amulet, which gives +2 to all skills, and then I use this ring twice, so I get +4 skills to the skills volley and art of the hand. The skill volley should always be in its highest level possible when used in any build. It is a great help for more damage and more survivability in some cases. Now let me show you one more item which lies to my inventory. I found this spear, Blood of Uranos. Sometimes I was replacing my standard spear with this one because this deals even more damage than the one I use, and also it provides a huge bonus to bleeding resistance, 114% bleeding resistance. But although this one deals more damage to enemies overall, except demons, this spear has the very important attribute 9% of attack damage converted to health. This attribute helps very much, and in many cases it keeps me alive during battles, so I find it more important to have a better balance between survivability and damage output rather than becoming a glass cannon hero. So this is it with the items of this build. I finished the campaign having 54 total deaths. The cause of 98% of those deaths is the super low, bottom low bleeding and vitality resistances of my hero. The good thing about the current state of the build is that my pierce and poison resistances are both maxed out. So, the most hateful demons in the game, Macae, have a hard time killing me. Most of the time they get wrecked by this build, and that was the idea of this build to begin with, to become a demon destroyer.